Hi guys, it's Major Foley here. Please don't skip ahead to the part you want to watch. Please listen to me before you continue on. I need to say, 1. The new Atlantis is a bit more difficult, and by a bit I mean quite a bit difficult, than your vanilla campaign. Another thing is, between Gold and Extended Edition, you're going to notice certain stats being changed and potentially things broken between the versions, if not both. An example I can give is the Town Centers. In the Town Centers on the Extended Edition, I believe they have 96 PS armor, whereas in the Gold Edition it's only 95. Now that's a small difference, but a difference nonetheless. In the level Cerberus, as an example as well, I noticed in Gold Edition AI timings tend to happen a lot more often, like they were programmed to, as opposed to the Extended Edition where they changed how it was calculated, something to do with like programming numbers and such. I'm not... Like, Raider and I were talking about it at one point, why things seem to break in Extended Edition more often than Gold, which they still do in Gold at times too, so don't think Gold is, perfect. It's got its own issues. But you're going to see things occasionally that you probably won't sometimes in these videos, unfortunately. Because I remember in my original Titans guide, people were claiming, why did this happen to me but it didn't happen to you, or this happened to you, but it didn't happen to me, that kind of thing. And I kind of got sick of seeing that stupid message. So a good example I can give in Cerberus, right? Eventually, a citizen will come and build an Orano's Passage and will transfer their army by that path instead, and they'll build in front of your base. Or they'll sometimes cast Vortex, or they'll occasionally attack you with a lot more units more often than not, instead of slowing down. But in the Extended Edition, it might not happen. Now, my strategies that I make tend to account for these issues. So, even if something happens to you that doesn't happen to me, or happens to me but it doesn't happen to you, these strategies should encompass those issues, okay? So I don't want to see those kinds of messages and say, this made this strategy not work, because it should work regardless of your situation, as long as you, micro a bit, and so on, so on, so on. Alright? So, just something to please keep in mind. The game can break regardless. Now, onto lighter news. Obviously, since I'm recording, I got my replacement 3070. ASUS apparently did find a problem. They didn't disclose it to my computer shop, which was weird for some reason. Because normally they do, but apparently that's only if they send it back, which they've given me a replacement, not the same one I had originally. So, and on the plus side, I haven't had an issue for a month and a half since I got my replacement CPU. So, that's nice to hear. Anyway, we'll get started with the Old One Watches. The opening cutscene, as it were.
Busy rebuilding, are they? How foolish to pretend they are safe. To think that closing some gates would mean the end of this. To forget that I'm still here. Well, it's their nature to be forgetful. Even their gods are absent-minded. Zeus has forgotten about everyone he has locked away in Tartarus. It is time for all of us to remind him. Go. Do as I have told you. What?
Again, the cutscene was out of sync there. I don't know, maybe because of my high refreshment monitor, I don't know.
We cannot stay here. There are not enough trees to build shelters or light fires against this cold. Crops will not grow here, and the savages nearby are getting bolder.
The gods have abandoned us. We'd have been better off sinking with Atlantis than coming here. We must move.
What's going on here? Zeno, what have I told you about getting everyone worked up?
It's all right, Sergeant. He's right. We must move.
How, Krios? We have no ships, and no one has seen a better place nearby.
The god showed me an abandoned temple in my dreams last night. I was told it is the key to our leaving this place. We must find it.
Alright, so the strategy for this level, guys, essentially, is we want to get three villages at least on each resource. Now, first up, we want to build 2 towers. First up, send your whatever units you got up here. So as you can see, our main hero of this campaign is Castor. And he's got high health, and he's got an Ajax-style bash attack with his 2 swords, and it recharges extremely quickly, so don't be afraid to put him on the front line more often than not. Now, the reason why we want 2 towers is because we get attacked quite frequently by raiders and ulsfarks, and we have to deal with them pretty quickly. Now, like I mentioned, we're going to want 3 citizens on each resource, and unlike other villages, they work more like Age of Empires 3 villages. They gather resources on the spot. They don't have to take it to a drop zone. So, we're going to want at least 3 on each.
Watch out!
Now, when the wolves come, deal with them, and then they're good because they'll actually give us a source of food, and we're very limited. We can't build farms after all. Now, there's deer, there's berry bushes, and there's a couple of aurochs. And you can see we're already being attacked. This is why we wanted to build those towers, because we can garrison in them if necessary. And they're much better at dealing with the units early on. Optimally, you're going to want probably 3. 3 will mean you won't have to worry about any attack. So, it's up to you how much you want to build, 2 or 3, but I would highly recommend at least 2. And you definitely want to get the upgrade crenellations because of the cavalry. Now, the other difference is that Atlanteans build manor houses instead of houses, which hold up to 20 pop instead of your usual 10. You can only build 5 of them, but the benefit of them is that you can also garrison units inside of it. Only up to 5, like a watchtower, but it's still great nonetheless. Now, of course, our main objective here was to build 5 Murmelo and then go find, you know, the barracks or the temple that Krios saw. But, doesn't pan out that way. Now, if you're playing this on easier difficulties, Krios actually supplies you with Siege, a fire siphon. Funnily enough, since we're playing on Titan difficulty, we will not be seeing a fire siphon until, like, the last two levels. So, you won't be seeing those. We're going to get the medium infantry upgrade. And we're going to build 1 more tower, because I'd like to just play it safe. After all, this is a guide, so anyone can do it. Not like, you know, your cracked hands, skilled speedrunner. So we're going to build another tower. We're going to train Murmelo, now that we've got medium infantry. And we're also going to train Arcus. Now, normally I just keep 1 barracks up, but eventually, like, I will just use the 1 barracks to train 2 units, so I can sort of get a surplus of resources to keep constantly training. And then eventually I'll use a 2nd barracks to train units as well. But first up, you're better off just relying on 1 in the meantime, so you can get other upgrades. So, to get economic upgrades with the Atlanteans, we have a building called the Economic Guild. Sort of like how the Greeks have, like, the storehouses and the granaries. We just have it in 1 building instead. So, there's no reason usually for us to get husbandry unless we find a lot of herded animals, which we don't really often enough. But yeah, I would recommend, at least for this level, guys, get at least the first level of each upgrade. Don't worry about the other ones, it's not really necessary. Keep your units by the towers, of course, so you're always having support. They'll usually try to attack you more from the south than the north, but that can change, so just be aware of that. See? And being under the towers helps a lot. Nice and easy. Alright, we are pop capped, so we need to do that. We need to build another house, and here come the ulsfarks attack now. Now, the Archers have a bit more range than your standard archer, but it also means they're prone to missing a lot more, I've noticed, so, yeah. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Now, I like to get heavy infantry before I decide to do any attack, because as you're attacking, they're obviously training themselves, so Gonna get the heavy infantry upgrade at least. This will make our Murmur a lot tougher. And I still need one more citizen to go on gold, and then we'll have a minimum of each. And then I also need to get pickaxe. So yeah, we're kind of gonna want about 20 soldiers and decent condition to go attack the enemy after an attack. So then we can 100% destroy the longhouses that we're going to have to deal with. So the raider longhouses, there's only 2. But the ulsfark longhouses, there's 4. So we kind of want a decent amount. And we want to get rid of red's ones first, just because it's easier to do so. Alright, so now with one there, we're going to get the medium archers. Now we're also going to build an armory, because upgrades like copper weapons will also affect our tower damage. And we're eventually going to need copper shields, because we'll be dealing with 2 hillforts. So our citizens are pretty hurt. Something we've got to keep an eye on. I did not mean to attack that elk. Whoops. Now that food's going to spoil. Uh-oh. See, this time they came from the back. Let's see if we can get them out of there. We might lose one. Yeah, we'll lose one for sure, so we're going to replace that. But the other one got in the manor house just fine, so that's good. And this is why you sort of want 3 towers. Remember, they're a little tougher, but they're still villagers. They're not going to fight well. Yeah, so it really does hurt to lose villagers as an Atlantean because they're much more expensive, so just, you know, be careful with that, guys. But we only lost one, so it's not, you know, the end of the world. Even if you lose quite a couple, it's not the end of the world. But, yeah, you gotta be sort of careful. So having a manor house near your resources isn't the worst thing to do, at least to this level.
The wood in these trees is no good for shipbuilding. We're stuck here.
So yeah, that also means we can't build fishing ships, essentially, that's what it's telling you. So we're gonna get copper weapons, and we're gonna get heavy archers before we go on to attack the longhouses at least. I don't really care for copper mail and copper shields just yet, although we will eventually get them. Now I do, like I said, I do have a second barracks, but in the interest of trying to get resources for heavy archers, I'm not training from it at the moment. That's why I'm just waiting. And then when I got these upgrades, I will train from both. So that one will be Murmur, and this one will just be Arcus. Guys, come on. So we got a decent chunk, and we just dealt with, well, we didn't actually deal with an attack, so we're not going to go into it just yet, because there was only one from each. Now, getting the Levy mainline is not the worst thing you can do if you got an excess of food, but since we're going to be needing the armory upgrades anyway, I'd probably get those first, before you get the Levy. You can just build another barracks, really, to increase training rates if you really needed to. Alright, so after the next attack, we're going to hit the red longhouses. It is a much safer strat to do this, guys. You can probably rush it and be better, yada yada yada, but this is just so much safer to do. Alright, now that we also have the resources, we are going to get the Levy upgrade. Our gold mine is out, but there is one up here to the north we can use, so I'm going to send the units up there. Hoping an attack would have happened, but they haven't done it yet. That's concerning. I'm going to send my units forward anyway, because the towers should be more than enough to take care of it, and I want to secure this gold anyway. Now, the ulsfark base is down here. We don't want to aggravate them, so micro your units towards the north side, because if you just waypoint to the red longhouses, what's going to happen is that they're going to go through it and draw aggro to them, which is something you don't want to do. Alright, so here's the attacks, and we're just still training units. The towers will eventually take care of it, so we're going to leave that to happen. I'm going to kill these wolves, and we're going to go kill red's longhouses. Yeah, there's quite a bit, but we should be fine. You can garrison units actually in your military barracks if you waypoint to them, so it's good if you want to just get a bit of a mass. This is still alright. You can also just rebuild replacement barracks over here. And the town center is eventually going to take care of them. That's why you want to build 3, in case something like this happens. Now we also don't have to deal with cavalry. We've dealt with it. I could have been safer and just kept my units there. Didn't have to. So just going to build those up. And rebuild the military academy on that side too. Guys, stop attacking the tents, please. And that's it. Now we just got to deal with yellow. So we're going to move our units down here. Get Arcus from this one. Alright, and let's start hitting them. The amount of Arcus we got, we should be alright. And we're going to waypoint our units up there now, because we got more than enough. Oh wow, the citizen was so hurt that they died to the Auroch. I didn't notice. That is unfortunate. So start taking out the Longhouses. You can get bronze shields, and I probably recommend you do so. Because again, we'll be dealing with hillforts. And when we're attacking here, eventually they're going to send throwing axemen too, which is the hillfort base that we're going to be dealing with. So we're going to have to take care of them. Cass is just one-shotting those units like he doesn't care. I want to stop training Murmelo for a sec so I can get that replacement citizen. So here they come. Alright, get that replacement out. I can get our replacement Murmelo up and running. And this way too, now we got all these Aurochs we can use, and they have a lot of food in them too. So that's going to help us. Now another thing is, now that we've taken this area, we want to build barracks in the front because we're going to need faster reinforcing times. So come up here and build a couple of barracks. And slowly push to Purple's base. So we can just slowly start picking off their units bit by bit, because they got a waypoint here pretty much. And you can just pretty much kill a few units before they actually aggravate on you. So just let your archers take care of them. While you build up another mass. Oh, the other villager. Come on, run. Okay, there we go. Alright, and we're going to want more Murmelo, so what we're going to do is we're going to train 2 Murmelo, 1 Murmelo and 1 Arcus and 1 Murmelo from these front barracks. So this way we'll eventually hopefully have more Murmelo on the field. We're also going to need another manor house, because we're pop capped. And those will be our wood gatherers. They can go up there. There's also a gold mine here you can use, but I use this one up here because it's large. And as you can see, if we were using that one, we'd nearly run out. Alright. So once we get our mass, we should be ready to go. We only got 4 Murmaloc as opposed to 30 Arcus. So it's a good thing they do have fire arrows for this mission, because we can't train destroyers at all. Alright, now we're going to move on ahead.
Temple from my vision. We can use it to escape this place.
Because there'll be a wall here that we have to destroy. Got idlers. Come on, guys. There's Aurochs right there. Oh, excuse me. Alright, let's siege down that wall. Alright, so we're gonna hit them from the south side first, because it'll be easy to get rid of the hill fort and then have our archers get in there. The hill forts have exactly 20 range, just like our Arcus, but they don't have burning oil, so if you can get anything close down there, like your Arcus, you'll be fine. Just keep them close to the hill fort. And keep them away from the other one up there. Then don't forget to waypoint your barracks towards there. They will try to rebuild the wall, so don't let them if you can. Try to spread your units around the hill fort so they don't get attacked. Because obviously, you know, burning oil, like, that hill fort has a certain range it can still attack. Once we get rid of that, we'll start hitting the longhouse. Eventually we're just going to have too much for them to deal with anyway. Guys, please, Aurochs there. We will need wood eventually as well, so... Anyway, that stops one of the training buildings. Get rid of the other hill fort. We have way too many Arcus for them to deal with, so we can just siege it with losses. Now, the final part of this mission, we're going to need to send 5 citizens through the Sky Passage, so prepare for that. We're going to send a couple of our gold gatherers to our food. And we're just going to send them to the Sky Passage, because once we destroy the last building, it will ask us to send citizens through. Yeah, so even after that attack when I had my army here, with the 3 towers, we still held them off, and we built a barracks, well, a little later than should have been, but we had more than enough to hold them off. The towers and the town center pretty much took care of it. If you're that worried, you can also get masons, but to increase the health points of buildings, but I mean, I wasn't that worried, so... Anyway, we are going to need food, so we're going to quickly get some food from these Aurochs, because you need 100 food for an Atlantean town center. And keen-eyed among you will know that this is the start of the second level. Pretty much this little section here, so... Of course, you can send your army and everything through if you really wanted to, but it's not necessary. And that's it! First level is done. It's probably not one of the harder levels. The only reason it's sort of hard is because, well, you don't have any god powers, I guess, or, you know, no special text to make it easier. But other than that, it's not really the worst level in the scenario. A lot of people will probably say it will be Cerberus or Atlantis Reborn, which is next. Don't forget, guys, the gold edition of the video will follow soon after this one. There is no release schedule for this at the moment because I'm still doing a little bit more testing with my 3070. Mostly long stream tests where the crashes with the graphics card I had did happen. So right now that is sort of Dark Souls and Tarkov that I'm testing on stream. And yeah, but these videos will come out. I'm hoping to get at least the Titans campaign done maybe by mid to end September. And I'm very likely going to be distracted with a new toy I should be receiving very soon, which I will have quite a few YouTube videos I'll make out of it. So, hope you guys look forward to that. And, yeah, I hope to catch you guys, well, later. Don't forget, guys, in my description, there's a description of the level, a link to my Twitch channel, and a link to my Discord. Come follow me on my Twitch channel. I play many, many games. It's not just Age of Mythology, even though I know you guys watch me mostly for this. I play a lot of other games. Come watch me just play games with either myself or for friends, you know? It's not the worst thing to do. I can help keep you entertained a little bit. Possibly. And the Discord is when, well, mostly how I alert a lot of my Twitch streamers if they don't have Twitch emails enabled. So, until next time, guys, I will see you for the gold version of A Lost People and the extended edition of Atlantis Reborn. See yous.